Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girdharidhari. Pijana Vallabha Girdharidhari. Jaisacinandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jaisacinandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jaisacinandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jaisacinandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanacharim. Jamuna Tira Vanacharim. Jamuna Tira Vanacharim. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki, Shri Panchatattva ki, ISKCON Foundation Shri Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Bhaktivedanta Purports ki, Srila Veda Vyasadev ki, Taigo Premanandi, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So we thank you for coming for this morning Bhagavatam class. Today reading from Canto 4, chapter 24, 25, 24, text number 67. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye. Nasta prayasya badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. So we're continuing with this wonderful rendition of prayers by Lord Shiva. Today's verse is there. Let's read the word for word. Ka Tvat Padahabjam Vijayati Pandita Na Ya Te Avamana Vyayamana Ketana Vishankaya Asmat Guru Achati Sma Yat Vina Upapatim Manava Chatudasa. Kvastvat Padabjam Vayahati Pandita Kastvat Padabjam Vijahati Pandito Yaste Vamana Vyamana Etana Ketana Yaste Vamana Vyamana Ketana Vishankayasmad Guru Achati Smaya Vishankaya Hasmat Guru Achati Smaya Vino Papatim Manavastatu Dasa Vino Papatim Manavastatu Dasa Kastvat Padabjam Vijahati Pandito Yaste Vamana Vyamana Ketana Vishakaya Hasmat Guru Achati Smaya Vino Papatim Manavaschatu Dasa Kastvat Padabjam Vijahati Pandito Yaste Vamana Vyayamana Ketana Vishankaya Hasmat Guru Achati Smaya Vino Papatim Manavaschatu Dasa. Prabhus. Kastvat Padam Bhajam Vidahati Pandito Yaste Vamana Vyayamana Ketana Vishankashmat Guru Achati Smayat Vino Papatim Manavaschatu Dasa Kastvat Padamjam Vyahati Pandito Yastad Vamana Vyayamana Ketana Shankayasmat Guru Achati Smaya Venuma patim manavaschatu dasa. Kastat padabjam vihati pandito. Yaste vamana vyayamana ketana. Vyashak. Vena papatim manavaschatu dasa. Mataji's. Kastvat padabjam vijahati pandito. Yaste vamana vyamana ketana. Shankar Guru Achati Smaya. Vino papatim manavaschatu dasa. Very well. Ka hu tvat yo pada abjam lotus feet. Vijahati avoids, pandita learned, ya who te unto you, avamana deriding, vyayamana decreasing, ketana this body, vishankaya without any doubt, asmat our Guru, spiritual master, father, Achati worships, Sma in the past, Yat that, Vina without, Upapatim agitation, Manava the Manus, Chatudasa 14. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Lord, any learned person knows that unless he worships you, his entire life is spoiled. Knowing this, how could he give up worshipping your lotus feet? Even our Father and spiritual master, Lord Brahma, unhesitatingly worshipped you, and the 14 Manus followed in his footsteps. Can repeat responsibly. My dear Lord, any learned person knows that unless he worships you, his entire life is spoiled. Knowing this, how could he give up worshipping your lotus feet? Even our Father and spiritual master, Lord Brahma, unhesitatingly worshipped you, and the 14 Manus followed in his footsteps. Purport. The word Pandita means a wise man. Who is actually a wise man? This wise man is described in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 19 in this way. Baunam janmanam mante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvamiti samatma sudulabaha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes, and all that he is. Such a great soul is very rare. Thus, when the wise man actually becomes wise after many births and whimsical attempts at self-realization, he surrenders unto the Supreme Person of Godhead, Krishna. Such a Mahatma or learned person knows that Krishna, Vasudeva, is everything. Vasudeva Saramiti. Learned persons always think that life is wasted unless they worship Lord Krishna or become his devotee. Sri Rupa Goswami also says that when one becomes an advanced devotee, he understands that he should be reserved and perseverant, shanti, and that he should engage in the service of the Lord and not waste time, aviyata kalatvam. He should always be detached from all material attraction, virahakta, and he should not long for any material respect in return for his activities, manasunyata. He should be certain that Krishna will bestow his mercy upon him, asabandha, and he should always be very eager to serve the Lord faithfully, samukanta. The wise man is always very eager to glorify the Lord by chanting and hearing namagana sadaruchi, and he's always eager to describe the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Ashaktis, tad, guna, gunakyane. He should also be attracted to those places where the Lord had the pastimes. Pritis, tad, vashatis, tale. These are symptoms of an advanced devotee. An advanced devotee or a perfect human being who is actually wise and learned cannot give up his service at the lotus feet of the Lord. Although Lord Brahma has a long lifespan, 4,320,000,000 years, constitute 12 hours in a day of Brahma. Brahma is afraid of death and consequently engages in the devotional service of the Lord. Similarly, all the manus who appear and disappear during the day of Brahma also engage in the Lord's devotional service. In Brahma's one day, 14 manus appear and disappear. The first manu is Swayambhuva Manu. Each manu lives for 71 yuga cycles, such consisting of some 4,320,000 years. You're right. Although the manus have such a long lifespan, they still prepare for the next life by engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. In this age, human beings live only for 60 or 80 years, and even the small lifespan is gradually decreasing. Therefore, it is even more imperative for human beings to take to this worship of the lotus feet of the Lord by constantly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, or recommended as recommended by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Trinadapi sunichena taro eva sayisnuna hamanena manadena kirtanya shadahari. Shishastakam, the third verse of that. When one is engaged in devotional service, he is often surrounded by envious people, and often many enemies come to try to defeat him or stop him. This is not new in this present age, for even in the days of yore, Prahlad Maharaj, who was engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, was harassed by his demoniac father, Hiranyakashipu. The atheists are always prepared to harass a devotee. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suggested that one be very tolerant of these people. Nonetheless, one has to continue chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, preaching the chanting of this mantra, because such preaching and chanting constitute the perfection of life. One should chant and preach about the urgency of making this life perfect in all respects. One should thus engage in devotional service to the Lord and follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas, beginning with Lord Brahma and others. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumalitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyahevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's a very, very instructive verse. Srila Prabhupada's purport is giving the formula for how to become free from this material suffering. Therefore it says here, Learned, being a learned man means coming to some self-realization after many Prabhupada quotes this verse from the 7th canto. And in the build-up to these verses, Krishna speaks, text 15 and 16 is describing the different types of those who don't surrender to him. 4 types of persons who don't surrender to him. They call Duskriti. Sukriti is a pious person. Duskriti are those rascals or those who are very envious of the Lord. And he describes these 4 persons as Asuram, Asura atheistic, demoniac, Asuram Bhavam. They are described as Mudas. Muda means ass-like. Person with an ass-like mentality, a human being with an ass-like mentality. Then he says, Maya Parita Jnana. Those whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. And then the 4th, what is the 4th? The Asuras we mentioned. There's one more. We said. That's not there. I'm talking about the 4 types that don't surrender to Krishna. Yeah. In the 15th verse of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions these 4 types of who don't surrender. Duskriti calls them Mudha, yes, we said. Mudha is ass-like mentality. Then the Naradama, that's the one. Naradama means those who are lowest among mankind. Yeah, and these are described as very, in the material sense, they're very opulent, or they may be leaders in society. It's in the social terms, socially, politically, very well connected. But they don't speak about God, therefore they may not have any understanding, ignorance of God. Therefore they are considered Naradamas, lowest among mankind. Then the Maya Parita Jnana. It says those who are like maybe very erudite scholars in a material sense, maybe great noble laureates like poets and authors. You may know some great poets, Shakespeare's. I'm sure you all studied Shakespeare in school. Who was it? Charles Dickens. Christmas Carol, today is Christmas Day. You remember Christmas carols? Say Christmas Carol, very famous. Charles Dickens. Yes. He wrote that book. Tale of Two Cities. Very classic, these are all classics. Of course, there was other authors great. Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn, is it? Mark Twain, Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. We did all these set books. I remember. I'm sure you all did these set books in school. But these are considered, they come under this of Maya Parita Jnana. There is knowledge was stolen by illusion. Of course, I remember one famous poet, William Blake. He was describing the tiger. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. You remember that? What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? Did he who make the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright. So he had some idea that he's the creator, but he didn't. And of course the other one I was thinking of, the all things bright and wonderful. I remember when we were little kids, we learned that all things are bright and small, and the Lord God made them all. So some did acknowledge that there is a creator, there is some, but most of them, they mislead us, isn't it? Into we go to school and study all this, what is called a slaughterhouse type of education, isn't it? And we think we come out very smart, isn't it? Getting our degrees and whatever. But yeah, materially it's good, but the ultimate goal is not that. We have to. So there it says, the learned person. Who is the learned person? A pandit. Described here, a pandit. And after many births, it comes to Krishna. So we may be, in our past lives, we may have been different in these four that Krishna describes. Atheistic persons, we may agnostics, demoniac mentality, isn't working like Buddhas, as like the classic example is the donkey, isn't? It's very used, especially we not see it so much here, but in India you see them used as beasts of burden, carrying heavy loads, isn't? Of mortar, bricks, and sometimes the dobi wala carry, if the donkey is a bit lazy, then he's baiting the donkey, isn't? And the donkey has to work very hard for what? Just a little, some meager grass. But if that donkey was intelligent enough, you'd have left the master and went on the field, he could have the whole field for himself. So this is describing how we are trapped due to our desire to enjoy the material world. We are kind of trapped, and we have to work so hard for things. There was a slogan in a car or a taxi. I ho, and off to work I go. I ho, isn't? So we create this kind of, consumerism, isn't? And consumeristic society we now, isn't? We have to have that. We have to have this. Everything, live like the Jones. And therefore we have to work that much harder, isn't? And for not much appreciation like the donkey, isn't? So that type of mentality, till we come to our senses, isn't? Through self-realization, by some good fortune of meeting devotees or reading this wonderful scripture, that can dovetail our activities and make us successful in terms of becoming liberated from this material world. And that is the goal. That is the goal. Otherwise we simply just existing, isn't it? In this world. Lifetime after lifetime, birth after birth, this samsara of cycle of birth and death, and that is very, very unfortunate when somebody cannot come to some realization. Therefore Krishna in his mercy has sent the devotees, his representatives, to come and remind us through by the medium of the revealed scriptures, to invoke some auspiciousness in this material. This material world is very, very inauspicious because it's described as Mrityaloka, a place of suffering, a place of death. Mrityaloka. Of course, not only in this earth planet, but from the highest planet, from Brahma Loka down to the lowest planet, they are all places of misery. And yeah, Prabhupada, Brahma's one day is how long? 4,320,000,000 years. That's his 12-hour day. What to speak of his 12-hour night? And he lives for 100 such years. So it's a long time. Long time by the time, the time factor in relation to time. Time is relative. In whichever planet we're in, it's relative. And the higher planets, people live longer. Yeah, Prabhupada mentioned that in this material world, in this earth planet, we're lucky if we see 60, 70, 80, isn't? We see that. And in that time, it is very, very, compared to the higher planet, it is very, very meager. And yet we think, yeah, we wish everybody long life. Isn't it? Like Christmas time, you bestowing all your good fortune. May you have prosperous New Year. And we're looking forward to all that goodwill. Or your birthday, many, many happy returns. What they saying? Please come back again. Happy returns. Isn't it? You say like that? Many, many happy returns. You wish people like that. That means you. But what is the devotee saying? May you never take birth again. That should be our. May we never take birth again in this. Yeah, that should be our slogan. That should be our blessings. And may you never take birth again, because we know what is repercussions of birth, death, disease, old age. Therefore, it says, Pandita, a wise man, who's been through all this after many, many births, Krishna is saying, lifetimes of births. Such a soul is very samatma sudulabha. Very, very rare. Very rare. Very, very rare. When one is engaged in devotional service, he is often surrounded by envious people, and often many enemies come to try to defeat him or stop him. This is not new in this present age, for even in the days of yore, Prahlad Maharaj, who was engaged in devotional service of the Lord, was harassed by his demonic father, Hiranyakashipu. So we all know in the 7th canto, the wonderful Leela of Prahlad and his father, and how he was harassed just for his devotional sentiments. Of course, there are many other, apart from Prahlad Maharaj, there were many others, like even the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees on the Sankirtan party had the midangas broken by the Chandkazi, who was that time ruling India, that part of Bengal. So from that, there's always this harassment is there. Haridas Thakur, the Namacharya, isn't? Was also a ploy was to lure him by a prostitute, was sent by also the Muslim rulers to test him, his resolve, whether he's how genuine he is. So Haridas Thakur, we know, is the Namacharya. He was chanting. How many rounds was he chanting every day? More. 300,000 names. How much is that? Yes. That means he was chanting like 18 hours a day, hardly sleeping, hardly eating. Isn't that how he was? Yes. Shoo. 20 rounds. I can manage 8 rounds an hour. I guess when we're perfect is chanting, I don't know when, which, yeah, but also quality rounds. We can chant, there's different types of chanting. Yes, yes. Right. Yeah, so anyway, this prostitute came in the middle of night, and she was doing all this kind of very provocative poses, trying to attract him. But he was so engrossed in his chanting, and he, just to be nice to him, he said, just now, when I finish, I will attend to you. We will enjoy together, don't worry. And she kept on, and he was going on with his chanting. And just by that association with Narayana Thakur, she got purified. Just by the association and hearing the chanting. And she revealed how she was sent by this to destroy him. Yes. Yeah. Also, there's a story of in Bombay. I was thinking of Giriraj Swami, our beloved Guru Maharaj, during the time when they were trying to get the land, the Bombay project, and Mr. Naik and Giriraj Swami and somebody, there was Giriraj Swami was in a car, and next to him was a woman. And he was feeling very uneasy about it, sitting, he's a brahmachari. But he could see, that they were trying to test him, try to bring him down. And he was praying to Prabhupada that he don't fall down. So these are some of the incidents. And of course, we all may have different of how we've been harassed in so many ways. Prabhupada himself was also went through that testing times, but he always remembered Krishna. He never forgot Krishna, and that is the principal rule. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. All the other rules are subservient to that cardinal rule of always remembering Krishna and never forgetting him. Yeah. There's a very similar verse I was looking at this verse in the 3rd canto, chapter 25, text 20. Devahuti, the conversation between Devahuti and Kadama Muni. And she quotes this verse. Prasangam ajaram pasam atmanam kavayo vidu saiva sadso krito mokshadvaram apavritam. This is a translation. Every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the greatest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to the self-realized devotees, dwaram, opens the door, moksha dwaram, opens the door of liberation. Prabhupada says, very wonderful Prabhupada. Here it is clearly stated that the attachment for one thing is the cause of bondage in conditioned life. And the same attachment, when applied to something else, opens the door of liberation. Attachment cannot be killed. Attachment cannot be, in other words, it's inherent in all of us. And not only in the human species, in all species of life, we see that. Isn't it? It cannot be killed. It has simply to be transferred. Attachment for material things is called material consciousness. And attachment for Krishna or his devotees is called Krishna consciousness. Consciousness is therefore the platform of attachment. It is clearly stated here that when we simply purify the consciousness from material consciousness to Krishna consciousness, we attain liberation. Despite the statement that one should give up attachment, desirelessness, is not possible for a living entity. A living entity is by constitution has the propensity to be attached to something. It is natural. We see that if somebody has no object of attachment, what do? They transfer that attachment. If they have no children, what they do? They have pets. Cats and dogs and birds and snakes. Your pet boa constrictor. I see people walking around with it. Yeah. Eliminated by constitution has a propensity to be attached to something. We see that if someone has no object of attachment, if he has no children, then he transfers the attachment to cats and dogs. This indicates that the propensity for attachment cannot be stopped. It must be utilized for the best purpose. Our attachment for material things perpetuates our conditional state. But the same attachment, when transferred to the Supreme Personality of Godhead or His devotees, is a source of liberation. Yet it is recommended that attachment should be transferred to the self-realized devotees, the sadhus. And who is a sadhu? A sadhu is not just an ordinary man with a saffron robe or long beard. A sadhu is described in Bhagavad Gita as one who unflinchingly engages in devotional service. Even though one is found to be not to be following the strict rules and regulations of devotional service, if one simply has unflinching faith in Krishna, the Supreme Person, is understood to be a sadhu. Sadhu eva samantavya. A very important verse from the 9th chapter where Krishna says, what is that verse? Well, even if one commits the most abominable act, one commits the most, but if he's situated, he's still to be considered a sadhu. Sadhu eva samantavya. This is Krishna is saying that. Because when we take to Krishna consciousness, we're declaring war with the material energy. Right? All the time. Before we came to Krishna consciousness, we said we were in the lap of Maya. We were in the lap of Maya for many lifetimes. And now we're going against Maya. So Maya is not going to sit back. She's going to test us. Our resolve, how serious, how genuine are we? Because Maya is also Krishna's servant. Krishna is saying, Daivi Isha Gunamai, Mama Maya. My Maya. He says, this is my divine energy. She's my servant. And she's testing us. All the time she will test us. All the time we'll be tested. Not that this holiday time now, we're free from Maya. No, Maya doesn't take... I divine... I hope it stays like that. Yeah, well, sorry about that. So Maya is always testing us. Even when we think we're pure devotees, Maya will always test us. Maya doesn't take a holiday. She's what do you say? 24/7, 365. She's all the time working, waiting for you to, for that point. She's to pounce on you. So always, not that we think we're free from Maya. We should never think we're free from Maya also. That's when she will drop you. Never think, always be wary of Maya. That Maya is always there. She's always lurking, waiting for a loophole to encroach, to make us fall. So yeah, sadhu eva samantivya. Even if one is saintly, sometimes the difficulty of spiritual life, it's sometimes you may be lax. Maybe there's some, isn't? We may take a little lackadaisical in our practice. And then there's a chance that we may fall down. Isn't? But it's not like it is accidental, accidental fall down because of the strong nature of Maya. It is accident, not that we, what's the word I'm trying to use, that we deliberately wanted something. Sometimes Maya, due to a strong nature, sometimes there's weakness in us and then we may fall down. But then when we fall down, we should be very, pray to Krishna to reinstate us again in Krishna consciousness. Pray for His mercy. And therefore Krishna is saying, my devotee is always, he never falls down. Seemingly he's falling down. But Krishna is always protecting. as long as that devotee becomes remorseful. We must be remorseful and regret and don't make the same mistake again. Yeah. In that way we are protected. So if Krishna is saying that, then sometimes if somebody is in Maya, we tend to isolate them, isn't? We avoid them, isn't? They in Maya, leave them. Isn't? That is not what Krishna is saying. Sometimes due to the strong nature of the material energy, we may succumb to the nature of the material energy. But deep in our heart, we are sadhu. We want to be sadhus. We want to be saint. And Krishna is giving us all the time the chance to reinstate ourselves, even if we fall down. There's always a chance. As Prabhupada said, there's always even on the royal road, there's always a chance of an accident. Even on the royal road, Prabhupada had used that term sometime in his purpose. There's always a chance of an accident. Yeah. So the sadhu, what is definition of a sadhu? How many people studied Vaishnava etiquette? You did? Remember Vaishnava etiquette? Yes? There's 20. So we'll remind you. There's 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, and we were asked to remember, or to try and remember them and try to work on them, use this as a barometer to see how far we are and how we can improve, isn't? 26 qualities. And one of the is called is Vijita Satgunan. Definition of a sadhu is Vijita Satgunan. He conquers the 6 bad qualities. The word Sat in Sanskrit also means 6. The word sadhu, Sat, means he controls the 6 bad. What are the 6 bad qualities? Lust, Kama, anger, Krodha, greed, Lobha, envy, Matsarya, Moha, illusion, Mada, madness. So this is sadhu. When one can, of course, Rupa Goswami also describes that a little differently in the Nectar of Instruction, the very first verse. What he says? What's the verse? Vacho Vegam. Vacho. Vega means all these urges, the 6 pushings of this. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam, Eitan Vegam, Yovis, Dira. Dira means a sober person. A sober person is a pandit, a sadhu, a thoughtful person. Sober person. Dira. Dira statrana muyati. Isn't a sober person, he sees these things, the boyhood to youth to old age, he sees all these things, he experiences these things, and he sees, yes, the soul goes on, but the body is temporary. Sadhu. This is the definition of a sadhu, and we must cultivate that, this quality of being a sadhu. Sometimes we use this loosely. We call people sadhu. How do we mean it? Do we see the qualities inside to describe them? Or sometimes we use the word Mahatma, isn't great soul. Sometimes we use this term loosely, like in the case of, they were calling Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi, isn't? But he was far from a Mahatma. They say he was described as to those of followers of Gandhi. He was far from that. He was described as a politician among the saints and a saint among the politicians. This was Prabhupada described that when they had meetings in the Sabha, they would have these meetings, but the whole meeting was about politics. They would talk, they would sing a few bhajans and talk politics the whole night. What was the politics about how to kick the British out of India, Indian nationalism, like that. Prabhupada initially he was a big follower of Gandhi, but after he met Bhaktisiddhanta, all that changed. And the Bhaktisiddhanta expressed upon him the urgency of Krishna consciousness. It cannot wait. The urgency, there's an urgency about Krishna, this movement of Lord Chaitanya. And Prabhupada was so impressed by that statement that he thought about it the night when he went back. And that changed his whole resolve about following Indian nationalism and becoming a... Of course, all this is Leela, Prabhupada. It's Leela, it's just his Leela, isn't it? Yeah, and Prabhupada, just that meeting with Bhaktisiddhanta changed his whole attitude and how... and today we are here because Prabhupada came to the West, just following the orders of his spiritual master. Yeah, so this sadhu, we have to cultivate that, give up this envious nature, give up anger. Of course, anger can be dovetailed also. Maybe you can give me examples of anger that was used in devotional service. Nectar of Instruction mentions that, isn't it? Anybody can give an example of one person who got angry and is glorified for it? Yes? Who? Yes, Hanuman. Hanuman is a great devotee of Ram. And they burnt his, when they captured him, they set fire to his tail. And in that fit of anger, he burnt the whole of Lanka. But his whole was to free Sita and bring Sita back to Ram. That was his promise. And that was devotional service. So divorce can be dovetailed, anger can be dovetailed into another example. Yes? Arjun. Arjun. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to agitate Arjun, to make him angry. Because Arjun didn't want to fight. Arjun gave all his reasons for not fighting. Very materially, very laudable reasons. Who will protect the woman? Sinful reactions if we kill our guru and our forefathers and blood. How can we enjoy the kingdom at the expense of killing? He was giving all this material. It sounded very laudable, but Krishna counted all his and said, no. They did atrocities. They committed atrocities. And he described 6 types of atrocities that led to the war, isn't it? One who sets fire to your house can be killed, according to Krishna was quoting from Manu Samhita. One who sets fire to your house can be killed. One who kidnaps your wife is fit to be killed. One who gives you poison, administers poison, is fit to be killed. One who usurps your kingdom, the one who steals your treasure. Like this, he gave 6 reasons, 6 atrocities, and therefore the war was inevitable because it could not be avoided because of this transgressions the Kauravas had done, attacked with deadly weapons. They attacked while the Pandavas were in exile, isn't it? So they did all these atrocities. And Krishna is pointing to, yes, you must fight, because this is what they did, this. This is the reason why you must fight and kill. Krishna ordered him to kill. And Arjun had to make him angry. You cannot go smiling in battle, can you? Can you? Or you play a soccer match, can you go smiling at your... No, you're aggressive. Even as friends outside, isn't? After the match, you're friends. But in the game, isn't? There's rivalry, isn't? There's intense rivalry. So likewise in war, it's like that. In the old days, in those days, 5,000, the Kshatriyas were very honorable. After sunset, they would socialize and party together. But as soon as the sun rose again, they went battle, they were enemies. Yes. So Arjun, and the third example, very glaring example, I don't know if it's here, that picture. Lord Chaitanya became angry. Why? Because Nityananda was being attacked by the Jagai and Madai, and he summoned the chakra, he wanted to kill them on the spot. So anger used in devotional service. But when you use anger for our own sense, then that is sinful. That is sense gratification. That is material. That is material. Yeah. So these 6 bad qualities. Of course, we can get angry to defend the temple. If somebody comes to attack the temple and the deities, we can fight. We can stand for them. Yes. That's used to protect. Like during the rioting just a few years ago, we had to remove the deities just to protect the temple. Yeah, there was threat. They were right here on the doorstep. But we didn't know whether they wanted to burn the temple or go and maraud the shopping center down the road, because they had just cleaned up the shopping center up the ridge and they were coming this way. And the temple was right in the middle of that. So we were very, very afraid. So we had to, first step was to take care of the deities. So, and we were prepared to fight. We had lots of defend. Yes. So anger can be used in dovetailed in Krishna's service. Yeah. So it says that we have to follow in the footsteps of these great Mahajans. To follow them, you have to know who they are. Like we mentioned, 2 of them here. Isn't Brahma and who? Who else is mentioned? Swayambhuva Manu. These are Mahajans. You know of any others? Yes? Who? Janakaraj. King Janak, yes? Who is King Janak? The father of Mother Sita. Therefore she got the name Janaki. Another name is Janaki, daughter of King Janak. Who else? Yes? Lord Shiva, yes? Lord Shiva is described as Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. He is the topmost Vaishnava. And Lord Shiva's pastimes are very much... who? Bali Maharaj, yes. Bali Maharaj, who offered everything to the Lord. His head. Bali Maharaj. Who else? What about Narad Muni? Narad Muni, the son of Brahma, is the guru of Vyasdev. He was a blonde. Yeah, okay. Yes, Ramanuja was mentioning that. Jamaraj, yes? Bhishma, the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty. The 4 Kumaras, you must remember this. If you want to follow this, you have to know who you're following. Because all these are, they mention in the Bhagavatam. The 4 Kumaras, Bali Maharaj, King Janak, Kapil. Kapil Dev, we read from this Devahuti. Kapil Dev is the son of Devahuti. This is described in the 3rd canto, this wonderful Devahutis. Lord Kapil Dev. Kadama Muni is his father. Devahuti is his mother. Yes. Kapil Dev. Prahlad, yes. Lord Shiva, Swayambhuva Manu. So these are the 12 Mahajans. Mahajano yaina gata sapanta. We must follow it is advised that we must follow in the footsteps of these great Mahajans. Yes, we have to follow. But to follow them, we have to know who they are. We have to study their lives, isn't? And say, why are they Mahajans? We have to, what makes them Mahajans? And so that means you have to study Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita. Yes. You have to. How's the time? How much time? Time's up. Time expired.
Time is up.
Okay. Questions? So today is also one of the martyrs of the Christian world. Jesus Christ, his appearance day is today also. And he's revered among, Bhakti Siddhanta called him a Shaktivesh avatar. They referred to him. So he's much revered in the Vaishnava community. They see him as a Vaishnava also, a sadhu. And he was very tolerant. One of the qualities of why he tolerated them? He forgave them. Forgiving is a divine quality. To forgive. To hate is human. To forgive is divine. He forgave his captors. He forgave those who want to kill him. He tolerated them. So these are very hallmarks of a Vaishnava that we have to learn. Titikshiva karunika surida sarva dehinam. These are like jewels. You should wear them like jewels, ornaments.
Hare Krishna.
Right?
You mentioned during the wars, Kshatriyas fought, and during the night time they kind of reconciled with each other. Just to note, during the last World War, on Christmas Day, they did the very same thing.
Yes. First World War, second.
Second World War.
They played a football match, Germany and England. Yeah.
They exchanged gifts as well.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. Thank you.
You mentioned grass in that a couple times. I remember when I would say to my father, hay. He says, hay is for horses, straw is cheaper, and grass is free. So the washerman gives grass to the ass, but grass is free. So they're working so hard for something they can get on their own.
Yes.
And people in the mudas, especially when the system is not set up for the people who do the hard work, it's set up for people who do the investing. And that's another issue. And the other formula of it that people forget in it, you read in the purport in there where Lord Chaitanya says, Trinada Pisuhishtanya Chor Pisuhishtanya Amanina Amanadena Kirtanaya Sadahari, that one who considers himself lower than the grass in the street, more tolerant than a tree,
Yes.
devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others while expecting none for himself, he can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. It's like some people think we should have given a class on how if one is not envious but a kind friend to all living entities and does not think himself a proprietor, that he's dear to Krishna. So we did give that on Sunday. Yeah. And some people said, well, why should I do that when people mistreat me? Or why should I respect others when others don't respect me? But the obvious conclusion is that we become dear to Krishna and we can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So that's why. Even if the people don't understand it, if we give them respect while not expecting it, or if we're a kind friend, we become dear to Krishna and we can chant constantly. So that makes it worth it, even if the other people recognize it or not. Doesn't it?
Yes.
Or do you think it's not worth it? Is it not worth it if we practice these things and we're dear to Krishna and we can chant constantly? If the other people don't recognize it and don't treat us properly, is it still worth it?
Yes. The holy name.
So it's not dependent on their reaction, it's more dependent on what we do.
At some point they will take it up. Yeah.
But even if they don't, if we get Krishna's mercy, that's what counts, isn't
Yes,
it?
just hearing.
Yes.
Just hearing the holy name. They may not have any pious credits. So the Agyata Sukriti, unknowingly. It's called Agyata Sukriti. They make advancement unknowingly.
Ladies?
Without. Okay, I think we'll end there. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah.